All right, Shalom. I'd like to start up saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Harakak Dash Mama. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great Muslim, double honors to our elder apostles as well, and her one by Yashar, all down here in the lines in camp. Salutations to the Archon of the Pussy, the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, I'm Khanat to by Yashar, all from the lines in the Yashar camp. This is another Lions Den News and Prophecy. All right, this is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right, so we all know that the words of Yahweh Shem Shai will not return unto him void. You know, the things that he said were going to happen are going to happen, and he sends his prophets out to speak of those things before they happen. So we will all have the understanding that the things that are happening in the earth are divine. They're all being done by Yahweh Shem Shai in the earth. All right. Or it says, Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. All right. For all the unfaithful will die in their unfaithfulness. All right. So you ain't gotta believe the things that we say. That doesn't, matter of fact, it's just with that being said, just because of your disbelief, you will die in your disbelief. The Lord is not, Yahweh is not gonna retract on his word just because, oh man, they don't believe me, so I guess I ain't gonna do it. That's more of the will to do to to prove to those that don't believe. The you know the elect are gonna believe through faith. Everybody else's belief is gonna come through death and destruction. All right, this is Romans 3:3 says, For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Yahweh without effect? Just because you don't believe, we still gonna carry our faith all the way to the kingdom, right? It says, hold on. All right, we're still gonna have our faith, whether you choose to hear or forbear. It has nothing to do with us. All right, verse 4 says, Yahweh forbid, yea, let Yahweh be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, thou mightest be justified in thy saying, and it mightest overcome when thou art judged, right? So so their unbelief, their disbelief is going to be a witness and a judgment against them. Everybody that heard the word of Yahweh Shema Shai and chose not to um, take heed to his word, they're going to remember that in the moment of judgment. You know, they're also going to remember that after they perish on this side and they have to face Yahweh Shema Shai. They're going to feel that shame, knowing that, while they were here on this earth, they didn't believe the testimony of Yahweh Shema Shai given by his prophets. All right. So all the unfaithful are going to die in unfaithfulness. That's 2/3 of our people in these other nations that are going to get caught up in the Lord's wrath. Is everybody going to be destroyed on earth? No. If that was the case, then who was going to be the slaves? All right. So this is the article right here we have. Somebody brought this to my attention the other day, and I kind of wanted to let it. They kept calling me, telling me, what you think about it? What you think about it? What y'all think about it? Right. So you see these people that didn't want to listen to you in the beginning, they call you with certain things. You know what I'm saying, coupled with fear. Now they're trying to be afraid, trying to have a little belief on, you know, on what was being said in the past and being manifest in the future in the present times, right? But the little belief, if you're not gonna believe wholeheartedly, then forget it. You're just gonna get caught up in the destruction, you know. All right, so like say for instance, my son, he was doing his work on his tablet. And one of the questions it asked him, um, it was science he was going over, and they're talking about the difference between living and non-living things. All right, so it says if something almost has the characteristics of a living thing, right? What is it? And the questions and the answers were a almost living thing, a living thing, or a dead thing, or a non or no, or, or non-living, or basically dead, right? So of course the answer was be a non-living thing. So almost believing means you don't believe. Believing a little bit means you don't believe. You have to believe wholeheartedly that the words of Yahweh Shema Shah are faithful and true. And you have to be among the children of Israel to be preserved from the wrath from his wrath that's about to come. So looking at this article, it said 29 passengers got off Hantavirus cruise ship after first death, flight attendant hospitalized with symptoms. Right? So this is another 2020 issue coming up right here. We don't know like at this point how far it's gonna go, but look what look at the 2020. What do you have? A recession, a plague, or disease. Then right after that, you have what? War. Ultimately, what's going to lead to? Like they they got this in their back pocket to either use as a false flag, use as a narrative to push fear upon the people, to bring forth a gen. They might roll this out right before what I'm saying, to crash the economy again, to bring forth the MOTB. So what they'll do, they'll throw it out there and kind of see who's gonna bite on it and see how the people are gonna react. While you have all this $1 billion a day war that America is fighting against Iran, which also which is bringing forth a global economic crisis. See that? And all this is going into the Revelation 6, the pale horse. See that? All right. Well, let's read the article a little bit. It says at least 29 passengers disembarked a cruise ship facing. Oh, my glasses. Hold on, let me get my glasses real quick. All right. All right, that's a lot better. All right, it says at least 29 passengers disembarked a cruise ship a facing a hantavirus outbreak after the death of the first passenger on board. The vessel's operator said in a statement, which could complicate contact tracing efforts, as Dutch officials confirmed a KLM flight attendant was forced to isolate in Amsterdam with symptoms. All right. It says, and an update issued earlier on Thursday. I don't know if they're going to get into it, but I heard the mortality rate of this is really, really high, like higher than what they said COVID was. All right. It says the operator of the cruise ship, MV Hondius Oceanwide Expedition, said 30 guests disembarked the ship at St. Helena, the remote British overseas territory in the South Atlantic, on April 24th. Hmm. April 24th. So this has been out here in a minute. It says authorities in the Netherlands also confirmed that a KLM flight attendant who was in contact with a now deceased passenger has been hospitalized in Amsterdam with symptoms and is being tested for a hantavirus infection. I wonder how they tested if this is something new. What kind of test do they have for it? All right, it says a 69-year-old Dutch woman whose husband died on board the ship had briefly boarded a KLM flight from Johannesburg, on which the now hospitalized attendant was serving on serving on board. It said the elderly woman whose hantavirus infection has been confirmed by the authorities later deboarded the plane after worsening symptoms and died in a hospital in South Africa. Yeah, they checking them out of here. Hmm. And from what the person that was calling me, from what they read, she saw a news briefing on it, and so they were holding. Matter of fact, where is this place at? They said in the beginning, Saint Helena. Where is that at? Okay, Saint Helena. Where is that? It don't show you where it's at on the map. Let me see. Okay, it's over off of like it's closer to the coast of the Africa in the South Atlantic. Okay. All right, but there's another article that says that you got 4 or 5 countries in the United States that are on high alert that might have carriers of this virus. The brothers brought it up in the live that they did last night. But yeah, so you got an elderly man and an elderly woman, then another flight attendant that has symptoms. So we have what? How many deaths? 2 deaths? No. Well, I guess the elderly man died on board and his wife died in the hospital. It says what to watch for. In its update, Oceanwide Expeditions said it is monitoring the cruise ship's progress as it sails from Cape Verde to the Canary Islands, and the journey is expected to take 3 to 4 days. No symptomatic individuals are present on board, the statement added. So they got all the infected people off. They kept that's crazy. But they were saying that the person calling were saying that the news uh briefing said that they're not letting the other people off the ship, and told their family members to go ahead and make funeral arrangements for them, just straight like that. It says the cruise operators updated shows that at least 6 American citizens were among the 29 that disembarked the ship on April 24th in St. Helena. Hmm. So they done probably made it back to the States. It said the BBC reported that authorities in Georgia are monitoring 2 passengers who disembarked from the ship and returned to the state, while Arizona officials are monitoring 1 passenger, but none of them are reportedly displaying any symptoms, and it is unclear if they have been asked to isolate. What do we know about hantavirus cases linked to the ship? So as of Thursday morning, a total of 8 cases have been linked to the outbreak on the ship, including the KLM flight attendant. This includes 5 confirmed cases and 3 suspected cases. 3 of the 8 people have died so far. Damn. but only one of them has been identified and has confirmed um, Hantavirus case. A 70-year-old Dutch man died on April 11th, and his body was disembarked from the boat on April 24th. What? He was on the ship for 13 days, dead? That's crazy. Yo, wow. It took him 13 days for them to dock somewhere to get the dead man out. Or it says a 70-year-old Dutch man died on April 11th, and his body was disembarked from the boat on April 24th in St. Helena, among with along with his 69 with a 69-year-old woman. I guess maybe that was his wife. While attempting to fly back home from South Africa, the woman also fell severely ill and later died in the hospital. She later tested positive for the virus. A German woman later died on board the ship on May 2nd, and her body still remains on the vessel. Damn, that's crazy. So, so, so they people just dying on the ship and they just put them in the storage room. We'll take them out when we land somewhere. Like that's crazy. It says hantavirus infected cruise ship. More cases confirmed, but who says it is not the next COVID? See that? It says hantavirus infected cruise ship will dock in Canary Islands. International passengers sent home. Okay, so now they headed to the Canary Islands. I think Canary Islands are off the coast of Africa also. Um, hmm, that's crazy. This is gonna. You got so many um global crisis going on right now. And why is that? It's because of this. This is Second Edwards 15 and 6, 15 and 5. It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, war, famine, you know what that is, death, however it may come through this plagues and viruses, right? And destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. See that? So the Lord is sending plagues upon the earth, man. You see war going on with the situation with Ukraine and Russia, um, Iran with Israel and U.S. Then you have this coming out, which the Iranian war is is um is that's creating a global crisis, which can also create a famine. You know, all this is being all these are scourges being sent out by Yahweh Shem Shai, right? In Revelation chapter 6, verse 7, it says, when he opened the fourth seal, I heard a voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And behold, I looked, and behold, a pale horse. See that? Now that pale can mean it's synonymous for two things. It could mean something that's green and growing and good, or something that's yellowish, pale, or like decaying. In this sense, is decay, right? Destruction. It says, and his name that sat on him was death. See that? Death. That's what this devil's. That's Revelation 12:12. Devils come down having great wrath that he has but a short time, and hell followed with him. See that? What is that? Habakkuk chapter 2. He enlarges his desires as hell, and his is death. Hold on, let me get it. All right. All right, Yea, this Habakkuk 2 and 5 it says, Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto them all people. He's just like a walking sepulchre, a walking grave. I mean, the grave don't care who, you know what I'm saying? The grave always hungry. You can never fill the belly of a grave, you know? He's always welcome whoever wants to come down here, you know? And the Lord using this devil to send them, all right? His name is death and hell follows, man. All right? This is back in Revelation 6 and 8, it says, I looked and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So everything like famine, war, diseases. Um, I did a lesson like 2 or 3 weeks ago about how they were doing military exercises somewhere in like Colorado or something like that, and a bear came out and attacked and mutilated two of the soldiers, and they say they were barely hanging on by a thread. The bear woke up out of his hibernation and just went to town on these devils. You see that? But but knowing this, that we're gonna be delivered from all this. You know, we're gonna be delivered from all this. This is let me get this real quick. I'll probably close it out. Psalms 91 and 1, it says, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, meaning under his covering. You know, that secret place is the scriptures, which is going to take you to another secret place through chariots. See that? It says, I will say, Yahweh is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. See that? It says, Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Who's the fowler though? Esau. All right. Right. But what does it say? No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Ultimately, this is designed to go against Jacob, because Esau wants his birthright back. But the Lord is going to protect us. But 2/3 of our people are going to have to suffer because they're of their father, the devil. All right. It says, let me jump down to verse 10, Psalm 91 and 10. It says, There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. All right, see that? So only with thine eyes shall we see the reward of the wicked. See that? All right. It says, verse 11 says, For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. Right. So as we're navigating through this, you know, scripture said the angels camping around those that fear the Lord. So the Lord's gonna be like, protect the ones that have the mark, destroy the ones that don't. You know, it says, verse 5, it says, They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. So that's being lifted up into the chariots. It says, it says, Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon. Thou dragon shalt thou trample under the feet, because he has set his love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he have known my name. See that? So us putting our faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai, um, is going to bring us to salvation because we honor and glorify and trusted in the name of Yahweh Shem Shah. Let's get back up to verse 8 to close it out. It says in Psalm 91:8, it says, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, right? So, shall no plague come nigh thy dwelling. We're going to be protected by Yahweh Shem Shah. All right, Lord, willing this lesson edify and serve the purpose for the hope and let the one who truly believe in the name Yahweh Shema Shai. With that, I'd like to say, Kah Halayim, La Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harikah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone, double honors to our elder apostles as well, and her one by Yasha, all down in the lines in camp. Salutations to the argument that are pushing the truth, to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom.